Hi everybody, today I want to talk about how to actually channel your higher self and how to spot the difference between your ego and your higher self. So realize that in a way that higher self is actually you, and you have actually the choice inside of your own hands. Okay, so I realized that the ego is actually based on hate, on separation, and my higher self, or the version of myself, is actually focused on love, on peace, on abundance. Okay, and I realized that the more that I open my heart to myself, the more that I actually appreciate and love myself, the more I actually connect to my higher self. Okay, so in order to actually realize what your higher self is, you must first ask yourself the question, what is my higher self? Okay, so I realized that yes, throughout our journey we are actually faced with some events, some disturbances, and sometimes it feels like our egos are being triggered. Okay, we feel like we want to fight, we feel like we want to be in resistance, we feel like we are not really enough. Okay, so what the ego is actually, the ego is our identifications with ourselves. The higher selves, on the other hand, is a non-physically focused energy that actually is more like, is not really physical. It actually guides you through your thoughts, through your feelings, through your vibes. And this higher self is really non-physical. It's actually your inner being that actually guides you. In a way, it is actually you, but the way that this higher self actually speaks to you is through your feelings, it's through your heart center, it's through your heart chakra. Okay, so it means that the more that you are actually connected to your heart center, to your heart chakra, the more that you are actually connected to your higher self. In order to actually open the heart chakra, make sure that you actually go into nature, guys, because nature is powerful, nature is beautiful. Okay, so the more that you actually make a better relationship with your breath, the more that you are connected to your higher self. Okay, so the higher self is really your intuition. Okay, if your intuition feels good, if your intuition feels easy, if your intuition feels at peace, that means that that is your higher self actually speaking through you. Okay, so the higher self, from my perspective, is really this free-flowing energy that actually you feel easy to accept in order to actually build and create the reality that you want, maybe. Okay, so the higher self is actually your heart chakra. The higher self is really that flow, is that courage, is the fact that you are actually living a happy life. Okay, so the higher self and the ego, so the ego is more like the patterns that are actually limiting us. They are our identifications. Okay, so the ego is the identifications that we have at a mental level. For example, I may name myself that I am Seba, and that I am a guy, and that I am 25 years old, but these are only programs that have been installed throughout my ego. Okay, what I am at a higher self level is the fact that I am a multidimensional being having a human experience, is the fact that I am pure love, pure joy, pure bliss, and that is actually my truth. Okay, so I realized that yes, the higher self is this loving, forgiving, this kind version of ourselves. The higher self is based on peace, on authenticity, on abundance. Okay, so in order to actually spot the difference between the higher self and the ego, realize that the ego most of the time speaks through your thoughts, and the higher self actually speaks through your feelings. Okay, so the more that you actually let go of the mind, of your identifications with your thoughts, of the identifications of who you think you actually are at a mental level, the more that you let go of these things, is the more that you will actually connect to your higher self, that higher self that actually lays into your body. Okay, so if you get to actually listen to your body, if you get to actually listen to your intuition, you realize that now you're actually more connected to your higher self. And the higher self really is you. Okay, the more that you actually get to know yourself at a soul level, at a spiritual level, at a level that actually represents your truth, the more that you are actually connected to your higher self. Okay, so I realize right now that I am having a heart chakra explosion because I dare to actually forgive my past. In order to actually connect to your higher self, you also have to forgive yourself, forgive your past, and actually give yourself the compassion that you need. Okay, I believe that in connecting with our higher selves, we must begin to love ourselves. We must begin to love our flaws. We must begin to love everything about ourselves, okay? So realize that yes, the higher self is about peace. And the more that you actually get to channel the information that you need, the actions that you need, the creativity that you need through your heart chakra, the more that you are actually connected to your higher self. They also say that higher self is a non-physically focused energy. It means that yes, there is a spirit realm, there is an angelic realm from where we are actually guided into actually building the best version of ourselves, okay? The ego is more about lack. The ego is about desire. The ego is about wanting. Instead, the higher self is about having, okay? So the higher self is already at peace with wherever he is actually finding himself. The higher self realizes that it's not about war, it's not about fighting, it's more about the connection that we have with other people, okay? So the higher self is also about forgiving ourselves. The higher self is also about recognizing our mistakes and actually bringing in the positive perspective of peace, of love, of abundance, okay? So realize that, guys, that again, the more connected you are to yourself, the more authentic you are with yourself, the more that now you are connected with your higher self, okay? It's also about, from my perspective, it's about questioning ourselves. It's about asking ourselves who are we really, and what do we actually really want to create, okay? So I realized that yes, my higher self in a way is actually me, and the more that I actually dare to forgive myself and forgive others, the more that I actually step into my pure beingness, okay? The higher self is also about finding a level of completion wherever you are standing right here in the present moment, okay? The higher self is about intuition, it's about higher knowledge, it's about stepping into your true self, it's about realizing that we are all connected into oneness, it's about looking at the other and seeing them as yourself, okay? The higher self, it's about connectivity, guys. The more that you actually raise your vibration, the more that you raise your energy, the more that you are connected to your higher self. And yes, for me, in order to actually connect to my higher self, I realized that I had to learn some lessons. I had to learn how to forgive others. I had to learn how to forgive myself, and I had to actually step into a place where I actually increase my vibration through creativity, through love, through peace, okay? So realize, guys, that yes, in order to spot the difference between your higher self and your ego, you actually must connect to your heart center. You must forgive yourself. From my perspective, you must also step into a creative process. You must actually learn how to embrace the world as yourself. You must learn how to begin to be yourself in each moment, okay? So realize that yes, you have the freedom to be anything that you desire in this lifetime, in these lifetimes maybe. And you have the freedom to actually alchemize everything within your inner world, okay? The more that you actually learn how to alchemize even your negative emotions, even your suffering, even your fears, the more that now you are connected to your higher self, the more that you will actually begin to step into a karate mode and actually not fight, but embrace yourself, okay? So realize, guys, that yes, at a soul level, at a spirit level, at an energy level, you are really powerful. You are really powerful as a spiritual infinite being. And yes, the concept of the higher self, from my perspective, is real. And we, at some level, we are that higher self. In order to actually connect to our higher self, we must not get lost in the patterns of the mind, okay? We must actually learn how to enter a meditative state, a state where we are actually stepping into a creative process, okay? So the more that we actually live in the heart, the more that we live in the heart, the more that we actually connect with our higher self, okay? The more that we live in the head, the more that we are connected to the ego, okay? So the key is to actually smoothen the relationship that you have with yourself, is to actually increase your intuition and actually be yourself. Okay, so realize that everything is happening with a purpose, and even if it gets hard, sometimes it gets hard, and sometimes you may feel like you are tested by this higher being of yours. I felt like I was tested by this higher being of mine, and now I realize that it all happened on purpose, and I do have the choice of forgiveness. Okay, so realize that yes, you are an infinite spiritual being, and you do have the power to actually channel the energy that you want in order for you to actually step into a creative process, in order for you to actually build and manifest the life that you want. Okay, so realize that the choice that feels good, the choice that feels authentic, that is a message from your higher self that you are actually about to make the best choice. Okay, so realize, guys, that yes, forgiveness, creativity, letting go of the mind and stepping into our hearts, also integrating our egos and questioning our egos, and also letting go of the idea of the ego, because at a soul level, at an authentic level, we really are not the ego. We are not who we really think we are, and not even the world is what it seems. Okay, so if we learn to actually open our senses to new perceptions, to new awareness, to new levels of peace and abundance, the more that we actually learn the secrets of the universe, the more that we learn the secrets of the universe, which from my perspective are actually inside of ourselves. Okay, so realize, guys, that yes, the higher self is actually you, and the more that the happier you are, the more that you actually channel your higher self. Okay, the better you will feel, the more that you channel your higher self. So it's about questioning yourself and stepping into a creative process. It's about raising your energy. It's about moving into your body. It's about doing some movement, some yoga, some sports. Okay, so realize that yes, the higher self is actually you, and the more that you actually question who you are at a physical level, at a soul level, at a spiritual level, at a mental level, at an emotional level, the more that you will actually begin to clear the patterns and the blockages that are actually stopping you, and the more that you will actually channel your higher self for you to actually build the life that you want. Okay, so yeah, guys, thank you for watching. This was today's video. If you are new to the channel, feel free to actually subscribe and leave me a comment. Also, if you want to work with me in one-on-one coaching sessions, feel free to actually access the link that is in the description below, or leave a comment. Okay, so this is how to actually make the difference between your ego and your higher self. Realize that yes, you are full of energy, you are full of love, and the more that you actually release the patterns that are not serving you, the more that you will actually connect to that freedom that is within your soul, within your heart. Yes, you are free to actually express yourself the way that you want to, and you are free to be yourself. Okay, the more that you love yourself unconditionally for everything, the more that you accept yourself unconditionally, the more that you will actually become your higher self, the more that you will actually enjoy creating anything that you desire. My name is Seba. Thank you for watching, and feel free to actually subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't yet. I love you guys, and see you on whatever is coming up next. It is my pleasure to actually serve you guys with this message. It is my pleasure to actually channel the energy that is coming from my soul in order for you guys to actually get inspired and actually be yourself. Okay, so realize that everything is happening with a purpose. Thank you for actually following my videos. I appreciate you guys, and see you on what is coming up next. I love you. Much peace. Ciao. See ya.